So usually before I make one of these videos, I'll have a whole list of ideas and topics that have been kind of poking at me internally, that I've been thinking about, connections I've been making and how I want to stream that out to here and formulate into a type of talk. I don't script it, but I have at least a list of ideas that I should probably bring to the table today, things I should put into a nice package for you. But to be honest, the last week or so, I mean really longer than that, I really haven't had anything to talk about. I mean like nothing. Like, I'll go deep into meditation, scan into my internal world, scan into my own inner library system, my own inner laboratory where I'm grabbing certain things and kind of piecing them together, got my own little tools, things I've been thinking about. And it's like I just entered into that space and everything's just gone. I don't have any of it anymore. All of the things of what I thought were meaningful to me, they're just not there. And I think that, I've had different moments like this in my life, I think, where you go through these radical changes, these changes where you enter into a type of deep awakening where you realize what's you and what's not you. When you think about it, it's very hard, I think, to maintain that sense of equilibrium, especially in this world. I mean, we're just always interacting with stuff that's not us all the time. Like most of what we interact with online is not you. You're always looking at someone else, right? I mean, even in this video, you're watching someone else right now. You're not watching you. And so there's so much societal programming, even meta programming, that's always entering into our brains. And really, when you stop all stimulus, what are you really left with? Now, I haven't really stopped any stimulus, but I think that what I'm pointing to is I'm starting to get to the place where I'm realizing that everything that I want to talk about are things that I want to know more about myself or things that I have to already say to myself. It's kind of funny how when you're talking out, it's always coming from a place of internal projection, like basically all the time. That's why you choose the words that you choose for everything that you do. We're always trying to talk ourselves into new stories, new ways of being, new ways of interacting with the world and things we want more of. And it's like this cyclical pattern of trying to draw things from within to get it and grab it and put it back in ourselves. It's like this circle. And when I look at all the latest creators, all the even conscious creators, all the people who are trying to make content right now, myself included, there's this sense that we want to capitalize on the temporary moments of the world and find each little fragment meaningful. I see all my favorite creators, they're talking about the war now. It's the war between Israel and Palestine. Here's what I think. And here's, what I think's going down, all this kind of stuff. Truthfully, I don't know what I think. And honestly, I think that what brought upon all of this sort of blankness, this emptiness of my mind, was this topic in general. You see, you were never thinking about this stuff a week ago, right? A week and a half, 2 weeks ago, about that time period when this stuff didn't exist, you weren't thinking about it. But now it's everywhere. Now everyone's talking about it. Now it's like the new virus. It's the new thing in which you have to pick a side of what you're on. Are you on this side or this side? And it's like all these events are like these big, they're almost like data collection, thought consciousness bubbles that are there to test you and give a software update for you to receive internally. But while everyone's so obsessed with the thing itself, they're not looking at the meaning of the thing. So therefore, they miss the update and just keep talking about the thing, right? It's not about the war between this one or this one. It's just about war in general. It's about division in general. What do we think about division? What do we think about just murdering people for the sake of whatever reason? Like, it's not even about the war at all, or like which side are you on, which religion should go up and which one should go down, or what do you think? All the content creators, they get lost in their own confusion, and it's something that's just going to happen to everyone. But what I'm saying here is, I think I've genuinely reached a point, and I'm dead serious about this, where me personally, I'm just above it all. Like, really, I can't even get myself to be interested in lower paradigms of viewing reality. I really can't. There's just nothing that you can sell me. There's nothing that you can give me. There's nothing that you can do to me to buy me into looking at the world differently from how I already look at it, which is very similar to a holographic, simulated virtual reality game. It's basically how it is. As we get all of this new religious prompting of how, which side you're going to be on, it's coming to the end here, the end of the world. It's almost here, so make sure you're on the right side of religion, pick the right God, otherwise eternally you go to hell. It's like we're collectively being brought to look at every paradigm within us, which has always held us back. But we're fighting the paradigm of looking at it all. And so we're just like taking it so seriously. And see, it's that way with everything. I even wrote an article about this, about, can technology guide us to spiritual enlightenment? I think I wrote another one talking about why religion doesn't make sense in a technological world. I'm dead serious about this stuff. I really don't think that, all these things have to go away. But it's always in the replace of this stuff, really. If you don't have a religion, then what do you have? Right? You probably have chaos, so you probably need one. And we're in this great time period right now where it's like we're able to sort through all the possible angles and perspectives and things in which we should have in this reality, and things which we should upgrade, things which we should redefine, which things we should keep as a traditional base and a good foundation. We're in this great, not a reset, but a great restructuring of reality. Technology is really cool. It allowed us to come on online. The magic of how this is streaming video and capturing my voice in a perfect loop and basically no interruption at all. And you can upload in 4K and all this stuff. This stuff is magical. Internets, computers. I'm a programmer. I'm always tinkering around with code and just at awe all the time about like, how does this actually work? And I think that the future of where we're going to have to go with this, if we're going to talk about designing reality, we have to talk about from the instance of how reality is a type of computer. It's a program. Maybe not technically, not like actually, the hardware. Where's the hardware? Are we the hardware? Whatever. But we have to start to break down the functional logic of not only how reality works, and not in terms of physics or science, but metaphysical stories and metaphors that we can use to draw upon to create a map of reality, away from religion, away from history, away from how we think that stuff happened in the past, because whatever happened in the past surely didn't happen the way that it was written down. Just look at wars today. Is anything that's going on right now really real to the extent of how it's being marketed to us? Is it all just a marketing ploy to get us to all collectively feel a certain way about something, to then tick off, all right, we've got enough energy points from the collective, they want this, so boop, do another missile? Like, that's sort of like where we're at right now, is this harvesting of our energy to get us to all agree upon certain ideas. And once enough souls have signed on, it's like they do the next thing now. And that just really goes to what I was talking about earlier. So much of the information out there in the world, especially on Twitter or wherever, things in which we don't want more of. There's always people that are always talking about the thing in which they don't want more of, and so they have to share it, spread it, so other people can talk about how we don't want this thing. And then there it is. We're all just talking about it now, commenting, liking, and sharing it, and making it 100 times bigger than it otherwise would have been if we just ignored it. There's something very particular about human beings which want to really highlight the things which they don't like and put on a pedestal to try to shame and blame people to don't be that. But the very fact of doing that also cancels out what any value that other thing has in the first place. Like maybe things have to be oriented and structured in a non-optimal way for the person to experience what that non-optimal way is like, so they can change it to a better format. There's judgment at nearly every phase and state of being a human, and that just is going completely scalar into everything. And so when I talk about this and I say like, I don't have anything to say, obviously I'm saying stuff, but like, I just don't have anything to say anymore. Because when I look at it, I'm just like, for what? See, everything to me, man, I'm just being honest. It's real simple to understand. I just get it. And it's seeming like increasingly in this world, you either do get it or you don't get it. And if you're somewhere in the middle, it just kind of means you don't get it. Like that's where we're going. in a way, the great filtration of our consciousness has already happened. It's been happening for a while. I mean, I noticed it probably like in 2015 is when I started to really see it, but it's already been happening. And as far as I can tell, the problems that we experience in this world, especially today, those of us who are awake, we still give a voice to people who are not awake and try to genuinely understand them and believe them. And it's not to say that their voice is irrelevant, but it's like once you get to a certain point in your own personal evolution where you have maxed out your traits, your capabilities, and you just know a bunch of stuff and have a good understanding of the world, yourself, the interaction between things, the sort of schizophrenic nature of human beings and how we're just constantly obsessed with shit that's not real. Once you're advanced to that certain level, you kind of do want to take less part in like the collective societal reality because you see it's all just phases, just representations of splits in time of where people are fragmented into these lower self forms and think that they have something meaningful to say. Nearly everything is basically like that. It's just like talking about stuff that we all think is important, but it's only important to us to the degree of how much we need that message. And the severity and the noise level of talking about it, in a way, is the depth and severity of how much we need to hear our own selves talk about it, because it's something we deeply need to know or understand or further integrate. So when we see this craziness out there in the world, all this crazy, I'm like, I'm this, I identify with whatever. It's really like the more we give attention to people that have the loudest voices, it doesn't help us because it just scatters all the people trying to find peace. And objectively, the more you develop and grow, you'll just want to find peace in your life and not try to get so deeply involved with others. So even the whole way in which we have reversed how we consume attention from people which we should consume it from, or give platforms to people which we should or shouldn't have, like the whole thing is reversed. And it's like we're trying to fight the battle of how to make the reversal work while we're still in the old game. I mean, the amount of people which are still deeply religious in 2023, Jesus, he's going to come and save me. He's the answer. Or Allah now, Allah Abdullah he's like, whatever that is. I mean, like people generally believe this stuff. They think like, oh yeah, like this is the real reality. I'm totally bought in. And you just really get to a point where you see the cracks, the loopholes, the glitches in the matrix, the real matrix, and you're like, I don't want anything part of any of this stuff because doesn't even make sense. You see, and that's sort of where we're at right now. We're witnessing people at different levels of consciousness. And what I'm saying is, the higher up in consciousness that you go, the less you want a part of the old world and you just want to build your own world. And I think for me personally, I've been trying to find, like, okay, where are the people that I can build with? Because they're very scarce. I mean, you almost like never see them. You never meet them. I met one today. That's great. But I mean, you never really meet these people. Everyone's so in their journey. And when I think about it, the fastest track to elevating yourself up and out of your own self misery, self sabotage, and all these weird patterns that humans get involved in is just by exclusively trying to help other people for a while. Right? It's kind of weird, like how that then starts to enter into the contractual agreement of becoming better authentically, is you still do have to serve and help. But I think that that root nature that we all pull from within us, that's like so real and that we feel it, we just apply that helping to things which we probably shouldn't apply it to. Just like, again, shit doesn't matter. So we want to be helpful, but we're not helping the right things. We don't have a collective goal or aim. And the traditional tools of how we have utilized that before and have had built community around things which used to matter was a religion which is now false and basically has no value in a technological age when we can all stream in real time and communicate things which we never could before. I mean, we just need almost like a new religion. I mean, it's crazy, but we need something to bind us together where we understand reality objectively, where it's all one language. It is one religion. It's one way of viewing reality. Because all this split, I think it's just a fragmentation of languages, of how languages have been split. And even all the AI tools now, they're translating and transforming language, and you can speak something in whatever language, and type it out and it'll translate to someone else speaking that same language. You can have a conversation. Like that's the bulk and the majority of what our problems previously before. You see a person, they have black skin color and they're coming towards you. Oh, we've never had that before. We never contact that with our tribe. They must be bad because they don't look like us. Or, we see another person has a different race, they talk a certain way, or we had this immediate sense like, I'm in a tribe, I have to protect this tribe. Anyone else that's not like me is a demon or an intruder. But we're in a world right now. I mean, I'm in Silicon Valley. It's like, it's all Indians here. It's all, Chinese, Indian people that, I mean, I didn't grow up around these people. I grew up in the middle of white America. I mean, whatever, it's fine. There's so much diversity and culture and good things. And when I think about it, we don't really have any actual problems in the real world, other than the fact that ones that are now being artificially created in social media. Sure, there's problems, there's famines, there's food shortages, Africa, whatever. There's all these problems which we've been designed and carefully and meticulously sold things which we should care about. And it's not even to say that they're not real. I mean, they're real. But I mean, in the grand scheme of total reality, when you go and walk outside your door in real life, away from the screen, step out from the screen, in the real screen of reality, when you step into the real screen of your own personal dashboard of reality, and you locate yourself and walk around, you'll recognize reality's fine. It's been fine. The last 3 years has basically been fine. It looks like it's going to continue to be fine. There aren't going to be bombs flying from the sky. We're not going to be attacked. Your neighbors aren't just going to turn on you. Food at the grocery store isn't just going to go away and we're all going to be in a war. I mean, there's this collective feeling that we're all being sold like everything's about to go down and here it comes. But the more that you hold that energy, like it's about to come, here it comes, in a way, we all collectively have all those soul points, click off enough, those soul tokens. The elites up above in the sky press the button. All right, start the thing because they all believe it. And then there it goes, happens again. It really is like Truman Show here. And what I'm saying is, when I talk about things, when I think about things, oh, what should I say? I really honestly have gotten to a point I don't know what to say because the more of what I say becomes more real for me. And so you basically don't even want to talk at all unless you talk about things which are just deeply personal to you and have nothing to do with anyone else. It's a weird, I mean, I've been in this paradigm for a while. I've been in this paradigm, several different times in my life, and maybe those were impactful. But really, man, I'll just be honest, I don't know what to talk about anymore because it just seems like I'm just talking to myself. It seems like it's only what I need to say to myself. I think the world needs a lot more of that than it does, explicitly trying to educate people about how to view things. Because if you just go directly to the source, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. You'll just get the information from you. And there's all these inner workings and internal pathways and little switches that'll just automatically happen when you open those doors of perception. It's just stuff that you can't mechanically or systematically figure out a roadmap of how to do. Like you just get into a certain range within yourself. Certain ideas will start coming, the imagination will come online, and you'll just have a new idea about something that'll take you down another thing, and boom, automatically just start growing. And again, you'll probably end up to a point kind of like me where you've done so much of that where you just kind of stop at a wall, have nothing more to think about. And maybe that's like another staging or preparation area of your consciousness to like get you to prepare for the next like climb. And maybe like next week I'll be intensely in my internal world again, thinking about stuff and have more to say. But we don't really have a system in place to like address these things. It's always like you have to be thinking this way. You have to think in this particular way, which we've all agreed upon. If you don't, you're wrong. Pick the right side or the wrong side. And man, it's just crazy, dude, what this is all turned into. I'm just being honest.